I'm a physician, and I need to tell you something most doctors won't say out loud. 97% of men have watched pornography. 85% still do. And if you're one of them, it's not just affecting your browser history, it's rewiring your brain the exact same way cocaine does. I'm Dr. Sam Brown, and what I'm about to share contradicts everything I learned in medical school. Not because it's uncomfortable, because for years we got it completely wrong. Last month, a guy in his mid-30s sat in my office, successful, frustrated, ashamed, told me everything worked perfectly when he was alone. Flawless, every single time. But with his girlfriend, nothing. We call this PIED, porn-induced erectile dysfunction. And yes, major medical organizations in the United States now recognize it as a real diagnosis. That fact alone stopped me cold when I first encountered the research. We used to dismiss porn dependence as moral panic, as pseudoscience. We were dead. Wrong. Here's what's actually happening in your brain. Pornography floods your system with endorphins, the same reward hormones you get from winning, from achievement, from competition. Except porn delivers those hits faster, easier, with infinite variety. And gradually, inevitably, your brain starts preferring pixels over people. Neuroscience has a term for this, the Coolidge effect. Novelty creates more arousal than familiarity. A new partner stimulates your brain more intensely than someone you've been with for years. Pornography weaponizes that biological quirk, delivering endless novelty on demand. The traffic on adult sites rivals YouTube. It might actually surpass it, and your reward system doesn't know the difference between real and artificial. It just knows it wants more. The problem isn't the pornography itself. It's the complete hijacking of your brain's reward circuitry. Same regions, same neurochemical pathways, same dependency patterns as alcohol, nicotine, opioids. Your brain begins associating pleasure not with human touch, not with intimacy, but with a screen. Over time, that association becomes so powerful that real connection stops working entirely. I've had men in their early 20s, guys who should be in their physical prime, describe this exact hell. They can perform alone without any issues, but in bed with an actual person, their body simply doesn't respond. The shame, the confusion, the rage at their own biology. It destroys them. So how do you know if this is you? There's a 5-question screen we use clinically. If you answer yes to 2 or more, pay very close attention. 1. Do you struggle to get or maintain an erection when masturbating without porn? 2. Do you have difficulty achieving or keeping an erection during partnered sex? 3. Do you have zero problems when you masturbate with porn? 4. Do you spend more than 30 minutes daily watching pornography? 5. Do you need to watch porn or replay porn scenes in your head during sex just to stay aroused? 2 or more yes answers. You're likely already dependent. And here's what matters. This isn't about morality. I genuinely don't care what you watch or don't watch. That's your business, not mine. What I care about is this. When your brain chooses artificial stimulation over real human connection, your entire life deteriorates. Not just your sex life, everything. Because porn dependence isn't really about sex at all. It's escapism. Most men use it exactly like others use alcohol or pills, to numb pain, dodge stress, run from depression. The orgasm becomes anesthesia, and that's when it turns genuinely dangerous. People trapped in active porn dependence become less productive, less focused, more irritable, emotionally unstable. They stop finding joy in things that used to light them up. Normal life simply can't compete anymore. That's what happens when you flood your system with easy dopamine. The threshold keeps rising, and eventually nothing real measures up. Even your hormones start changing. Oxytocin, what you feel during physical. Closeness, affection, real intimacy, begins declining. Serotonin regulation falls apart. Prolactin spikes higher after orgasm in chronic users compared to men who abstain. Your entire endocrine system shifts. So what do you actually do if you're recognizing yourself in this? First, admit it. Not to me. To yourself. If you can't do that, nothing else matters. Second, stop completely, for at least 30 days minimum. No porn, no edging, no just checking. Cold turkey, no exceptions. And here's the part nobody warns you about. You're going to feel significantly worse before you feel better. There's a term for it. Flatline. Your mood crashes. You feel depressed, irritable, worthless. And paradoxically, your sex drive vanishes completely. You'd think it would spike without any release, right? Desire-building pressure? Wrong. You go through genuine withdrawal. It's real, it's miserable, and it can last weeks. I've seen it take 1 month for some men. 3 months for others. It depends entirely on how deep the pattern runs, how long you've been using, how many hours per session. You'll need real distractions. Go to the gym. Start Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Build something. Find a different dopamine source, one tied to actual achievement, measurable progress, human connection. Surround yourself with people. Stay off your phone when you're alone. Delete the apps. Use website blockers if necessary. There are online support communities for this. Men going through identical struggles. Some swear by them. If accountability helps you, use it. But here's the deeper, harder question. Why were you using it in the first place? If it's loneliness, you have to confront that. If it's a dying relationship, you have to face that. If it's anxiety, depression, unresolved trauma, whatever pain you're medicating, you have to deal with it directly. Because if you white-knuckle through 30 days and return to the same life, the same problems, you'll relapse, guaranteed. Now let me show you data that might genuinely surprise you. Couples where one partner regularly watches porn report more arguments, higher divorce rates. But here's the twist. Porn use doesn't correlate with infidelity. Watching it doesn't make someone more likely to cheat. So if your partner watches porn, it doesn't mean they want someone else. It means something else entirely is happening. Often, the relationship was broken first. The porn is the escape, not the cause. People in unhappy relationships turn to pornography more frequently. So when studies show porn users fight more, we have to ask, is the porn causing the fights, or are the fights driving someone toward porn? It's a genuine chicken and egg problem, and most research doesn't clarify that distinction. Here's another stat that should alarm you. By age 13, 95% of teenagers have seen pornography. 87% of adolescents get their first visual understanding of sex from porn. Not parents, not school, not books. Porn. In a country with virtually no real sex education, that's what's teaching our children. And that's catastrophic, because what they're learning isn't real, the bodies aren't typical, the performance isn't realistic, the dynamics aren't healthy, and when their actual sex life begins, they're measuring themselves against something that was never real to begin with. That creates body dysmorphia. Men in their 20s convinced their penis is inadequate because they've spent years comparing themselves to performers in an industry that deliberately selects for physical extremes. Women feeling worthless because they don't look or perform like someone whose literal job is to look and perform that way. And some of them, this genuinely breaks my heart, avoid intimacy entirely because they're so convinced they'll be rejected or humiliated. 25 years old, never had sex, completely paralyzed by shame created by a screen. So here's where I land on this. Pornography isn't inherently evil. It's not the devil, and I'm not here to preach. But it has consequences. Real, measurable, physiological consequences. And if you've crossed from occasional use into dependence, your life is suffering in ways you probably don't even recognize yet. I've treated wildly successful, high-profile men, people you'd instantly recognize, people you'd assume have everything, who are completely dependent on pornography. Money, status, options, none of it brings satisfaction. They're miserable. And the porn isn't helping. It's actively making everything worse. So take this seriously, but take it clearly, without shame, without spiraling. Just get brutally honest about where you actually are. And if you need to reset, reset. Next week, I'm covering the flip side, sexual abstinence, the supposed benefits of semen retention, whether there's any real science behind it, and what actually happens to your testosterone when you stop entirely. If that interests, You subscribe now so you don't miss it. And one final thing. If you've been ignoring symptoms because you're embarrassed, because you think it'll resolve on its own, or because you're hoping nobody notices, stop. Ask your doctor for your exact hormone levels. Not normal, the actual number. Write it down. Track it over time. That single question might be the thing that changes everything. I'll see you next time.